Okay, I made a mistake. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. North Georgia's only live online morning show, FYNTV.com. We're back. I made a mistake. I want to go with the video with Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel saying his people, blah, blah, blah. You have that one? Yeah, let's look at this failure for a sheriff. It's 17 kids are dead, and the NRA is the problem, and gun safety and background checks. Chicago mothers black mothers probably would not agree. Let's go with that video for a minute.
Is a crime.
On November 30th, fewer than 3 months ago, your office received a call from a tipster explicitly saying that Cruz could be a, quote, school shooter in the making. According to notes released on that call, no report was even initiated. At this point, sir, do you understand how the public, seeing red flag after red flag after red flag, warning after warning after warning, they hear that your office didn't even initiate a report when they got a call saying that this guy could be a school shooter in the making? How could there not even be a report on this one?
Well, if that's accurate, Jake, there needed to be a report, and that's what we're looking into, that a report needed to be completed. It needed to be forwarded to our either Homeland Security or Violent Crimes Unit, and they would have followed up on it.
That's from your notes. That's from notes released by your office. I'm not making this up. This is from Broward.
No, and that's what the officer who handled that is on restrictive duty, and that's an active internal investigation, and we are looking into it. I can't tell you, I can't predict how an investigation's going, but I've exercised my due diligence. I've led this county proudly, as I always have. We have restricted that deputy as we look into it. Their deputies make mistakes, police officers make mistakes, we all make mistakes, but it's not the responsibility of the general or the president if you have a deserter. You look into this, we're looking into this aggressively, and we'll take care of it, and justice will be served.
Are you really not taking any responsibility for the multiple red flags that were brought to the attention of the Broward Sheriff's Office about this shooter before the incident, whether it was people near him, close to him, calling the police on him?
Jake, I could only take.
Hey, continued discussion on the failure. Cruz shooter in the making. You knew that he was in the making. You knew that. Red flag after red flag. These are your actual notes, Sheriff. These are your notes. If that's accurate, the sheriff says, if that's accurate, these are your notes. Well, there's going to be an internal investigation. America is tired of hearing this, no matter what the case may be, an internal investigation. I've led this county proudly. Must be up for re-election. I've led this county proudly. We all make mistakes. No, Sheriff. There's 17 kids dead and an agenda that's being pushed on the American people to try to elect Democrats for 2018 to take over the House of Representatives. That's what you're doing. Not leading the county proudly. Tell the families of the 17 kids. Now, there's a lot of kids out there and a lot of people that are saying that, they pushed a narrative and pushed this. So let's go to Andrew Pollack, okay? Do we have a picture of Andrew? First of all, Andrew Pollack's on CNN. Fox News with Chris Wallace. And Chris Wallace is interviewing Rick Scott. And Rick Scott, the governor of Florida, is kissing Chris Wallace's ass because he's running for Senate, and they're going to bow down, okay, to anything that anybody wants right now and adjust their positions to meet enough votes to get the next job. They're politicians. So Andrew is listening to that as he's waiting to be interviewed. Let's go to that video of Mr. Pollack. His daughter died. He is the one that was at the real listening session by the President of the United States that said he was pissed. So let's go to that one and play that one.
Yes. Delaney and Andrew join us now from Coral Springs, Florida, and I want to say right at the start how sorry all of us are for your loss and what... Andrew, when you were at the White House at that very raw, emotional moment, you said, look, after 9/11, We fixed the situation. We made it a lot harder for people to get onto planes with guns. When you hear what Governor Scott just said, when you hear what President Trump is saying, would that fix the problem?
It's not going to be fixed because I just heard what you said, what you're focusing on. Polarizing this event, the murder of these kids. You're talking about gun control. I just had to listen to you and Governor Scott talk about gun control. Gun control is a big issue. No one in America is going to come together on gun control, Chris. We're here. You didn't say one thing about fixing it. The American people, we could get together on school safety. But when you polarize it, this event and every other media, we don't care about gun control right now. That's a big issue in the country, and you're not going to get everyone together on it. But we're going to get everyone together on fixing our schools. And I just listened to you. So I just listened to you. You didn't talk, you didn't mention one question to Governor Scott about what are we going to do about the security for our children? How are we going to do that? But you're just talking about gun control, which is going to just give you more ratings than every other media event. My daughter's dead. I want to know, our kids are going to school in Kentucky on Monday. How are those kids safe? How about bringing that up to the media? How about bringing that up to Governor Scott? Not about guns. It's not about guns now. Today, it's not about guns. It's about the safety in our schools. And that's what you asked Governor Scott about, and I got to listen to that at my house. My kid's not here because the schools weren't safe. That's the main thing. You go into a courthouse, the judge is safe. The stenographer is not worried someone's coming in with a gun because they can't get in with a gun. People, we just want our schools safe. We don't want to talk about guns right now.
Well, let me bring in Delaney, and I very much respect.
Okay, so let's go here. All right, this guy Andrew Pollack, his daughter's dead. He doesn't want to hear all this guns. It's good for their ratings. He says our courthouses are safe, our judges are safe. Now, put up Brian Nichols. Okay. Put up, do I have a picture? Did I send you a picture of Brian Nichols? Okay. Now, when you go to a courthouse today, the security involved, and this is Brian Nichols. So Brian Nichols is known for escaping in a killing spree in the Fulton County Courthouse in Atlanta on March 11, 2005. Nichols was on trial for rape when he escaped from custody and murdered the judge presiding over the trial. A court reporter, see, he said stenographer, right? Court reporter, same thing, right, Amanda? A court reporter, he murdered the judge. He said the judge. See, Andrew Pollack said the judge is not insecure this morning. They're not worried about that. A court reporter, a sheriff deputy, and later a federal agent. This guy killed a federal agent in a courtroom. He killed the judge. This was in the courtroom. The judge presiding over the trial, the court reporter, and the sheriff's deputy in a courtroom. Now, this has to be what Andrew Pollack was referring to, Brian Nichols. He says, you know what we did? Do you know how many of the courthouses now have secure parking areas? Now, we're not saying we're not for this, okay? We're not saying we oppose this, but when was this, 2005? Now, find between 2005 to 2018, how many more have been killed in courthouses where the judge was attacked like this? Maybe it has happened. But on this day, 4, a judge, a sheriff's deputy, a court reporter, and a federal agent outside of it. And if my memory serves me right, he got into a lady's condo, and because she read him A Purpose-Driven Life, she talked him into calming down and turning himself over. I think if you Google that, just off the top of my memory. But Brian Nichols, we went to courthouses and we put secured, locked parking areas so judges could park in secure areas and walk in and out of the courthouse without fear of getting attacked. Okay. We have all of these controls in our courtrooms now. We have all kinds of new camera systems in our courtroom. We have different rules of bringing in inmates before the court that we're allowed to and not allowed to. Some used to, you could dress for court. You can't dress for court the same way you used to be able to dress for court if you're an inmate. Okay, going through metal detectors. Let me tell you how many millions of people, okay? How many, you think of this logic, if this is logical or not, or just think of this, put this in your brain. How many millions of people are going through metal detectors, emptying their pockets, wallets, taking their belts off, and having a wand put up and down them and see if there's metal in their shoes that are going to buy a car tag in America in a courtroom? Are going to check their property tax assessment at the property tax office in America. Law-abiding citizens. But our kids, like Andrew Pollack, hey, did the NRA, I don't remember the NRA, let's see, he is black, I don't quite remember the NRA being the cause of him killing 4 people that led to the new security levels in courtrooms and courthouses today across America, that, unless I'm wrong, you don't see these courthouse shootings anymore like you did. We fixed that, and that's what Andrew Pollack was talking about. Okay, take that down. I got to run through what I have left. What other video do I'm not going to play the other video. It's of a guy at CPAC saying something about Michael Steele, which I actually agreed with. There's a lot of calls for the sheriff. I want to make sure I get to everything. There's a lot of calls for the sheriff to resign. Let me get to all of my articles, because Amanda, you sent me over. You sent me over a couple articles this morning. I want to give those to you in just a minute. I pulled up the judge that got killed. Let's see. Medi and Legacy Media love mass shootings. Okay, that's there. The companies that are abandoning, let's go over this really quickly, if it'll come up. The companies that are going, more than a dozen businesses ran away from the NRA, how it went down, okay? This is all a setup, and you need to, the First National Bank of Omaha, the Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Alamo Rent-A-Car, National Rent-A-Car, used to have privileges to have an NRA membership, used to get discounts. Hertz, MetLife, Avis, Budget Rent-A-Car, Allied, North American, TrueCar Advantage, okay? Delta Airlines, United Airlines, those are some, and the companies corporations keep adding on. All right. Let's see what else. Several Broward deputies waited outside during Florida school shooting, report says. We have now Coral Springs cop who responded to majority Stoneman Douglas High School say several Broward sheriff deputies waited outside rather than rush in as the killer was gunning down students, according to reports. The allegations emerged a day after veteran Broward deputy Scott Peterson resigned under fire for failing to enter the school during a Valentine's Day shooting. President Trump on Friday said Peterson, who was assigned to guard the school, did a poor job. He's a coward, okay? Waiting outside, all right? Let's go with this. Amanda, you sent me a couple things. I want to give you just a couple minutes. Are there any particular stories we touched on today that you would like to have a comment on, or what are the stories you sent me? I haven't had a chance to look.
No, but again, I do want to give another big shout out to Dana Lausch for just staying strong in her opinion, and she's rocking it this week. I'm proud of her.
So you agree with her?
Yes.
Okay. How many, I got to find out how to close some of these. I'm trying to follow too many people on Twitter at the same time. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's hard. It's a lot to keep up with.
Well, I can't, I'm trying to follow, seeing if there's any new tweets from the president. Let's see, does he have anything new? I'm trying to look. Folks, before we go this morning, one last thing. We're going to have Wednesday, okay? I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. First of all, let me say the highest respect to law enforcement, okay? I do want to look in the camera and say I do know I do know many in law enforcement, and the majority of law enforcement that would have went in to save those children, okay? So our respect to you, men and women in uniform, officers today, first responders, thank you for protecting our children. We're inviting Wednesday, we're going to have at 8 a.m. a 2-hour special, and it will not be a CNN scripted 2 hours. We have gotten confirmation from the District Attorney B. Allison Sosby. We've gotten confirmation from Dr. Shanna Wilkes, Superintendent of Schools of Gilmer County. We are looking for the sheriff of 4 counties we have invited. We've asked them to bring school resource officers or the head of their school resource officer program. We've told superintendents they are welcome to bring principals. I know it's school going on there, welcome to get a handful of kids that want to talk about this and bring them with them or whatever. It's going to be at Circuit World in Blue Ridge, Circuit World, where we do our Friday show, because we already know the layout. There's plenty of chairs and couches to sit on, trust me, right, Amanda? So there'll be plenty of seating. There's couches and chairs everywhere there. And we will have invite everybody. We'd like to hear the kids talk about social media. We'd like to hear the district attorney about when they get threats. You see, since this Parkland shooting, there's been a lot of threats that they've had to take serious, that are copycats, but they are going around social media. There's been some lockdown schools in the last week due to this. So we're actually going to talk to the sheriff. We're actually going to talk to school resource officers if we have any to attend. We're going to talk to the district attorney. We're going to talk to students. We're going to talk to parents. We're going to talk to grandparents. And we're going to find out, what do we have to do to keep our schools safe? Because, see, we're not David Hogue, and we're not going to attack. And we're not going to ask everybody to pledge allegiance to NRA and pledge allegiance to a gun or anything. But what we are going to do is we're going to stay away from the attack. I'm going to sum up exactly what Andrew Pollack said. That is the basis of what our show is. Take me to break. Don't leave, folks, because when we come back, I got about a 5-minute close that you don't want to miss. That's Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Take us to break.